Charlie, the first question, how do the trends in the southeastern market compare with the national real estate buying trends?
Well, I think we answered a little bit of that when we were going through this, but I think the thing that you need to focus on is that what you're seeing here is very similar to what's happening all over the country. You're a little later to the party, which is an interesting phenomenon. I think you need to watch to see that you start to see the recovery happening as the rest of the country does as well. I know Atlanta is just getting slammed right now. I don't know how much your market is tied to what happens in Atlanta. Not so much. Good. The key, I think, is that every market, as much as you'll hear on the news, this is what's happening, every single market around the country is different. And one of the things that I would encourage you to do is to know the statistics of your marketplace so that when you're sitting down with the seller, you're able to talk through the reality of what's happening in the market. If you're in an opportunity to talk to a potential buyer who might be showing signs of interest but a little bit concerned about whether this is a good time or not, know what's happening in this market. Know what's happening with appreciation. Know what's happening with inventory levels, and be prepared to demonstrate. I mean, I get calls all the time from friends of mine and say, "Oh, I'm thinking about buying a house, but when's the bottom going to be?" Right? You get that all the time from people that you know. You need to be able to explain to them about the long-term appreciation values of homes, not the 1 year over year, and what's going on with inventory levels, and create an argument for why now is the time to buy.
With your background with ERA and Coldwell Banker, if you want to listen to what competing with the CD agent, what are the 2 or 3 top differentiators you would use to get this?
They tipped me off that I was going to be giving that question. I'm not really allowed to answer that question, am I? No. Yes, I am. Here's exactly what I would say to them, and you'll have to add sort of the local market flavor to it. And just as a general precursor first, each of you needs to be able to clearly, succinctly, and quickly give your value proposition. Why should I work with you? Forget about why should I work with you versus Coldwell Banker. Why should I work with you at all? All right? Now, so if I were to have to answer that question real quick, there would be 3 areas that I would focus on. One would be the collaborative nature of this company and of the brand as a whole. Because, as I said, your ability to work together with each other and to help each other will help that person sell their home. And if you're working with a buyer, will help the buyer find the home faster, quicker, at a better price. Your ability to negotiate will be stronger. And I know in this market that you are a much more team-oriented group than any other company in the marketplace, and that's an advantage. And I would figure out the right words for you. You've got to internalize what I'm saying, but how you would bring that to life, because that's a differentiator in the marketplace. It helps people's homes sell faster. Second thing is I would talk about tools and systems that are going to help drive the home sale faster. I would talk about Gold Star Property Program, and if you're not using Gold Star Property Program, that would be my homework assignment for you to figure out about that program, to urge your managers to help train you on that program, and to look to that program. I would look at other tools and systems. I would look at text ERA. I hope you're using text ERA, but for the younger buyer that you have in this marketplace, having text capability on your listing is critical to getting information you need to keep track of buyers, and it will help get that home sold. And nobody else in the marketplace, I would think, although I don't know for a fact, would have a texting product like Text ERA. And I would go through some other tools and systems that I know are unique in the marketplace. And then the third area that I would focus on would be performance. You all need to be able to talk about how you perform against the competition. And it's a very simple thing for you to do, and your managers can help you, but you need to be able to look at key stats like days on market, list to sale price ratios, these types of statistics, and how you as an individual are performing against the MLS. And be able to sit and across the table from someone and talk about how your statistics are better. My guess is for most of you in this room, that will be a pretty easy putt. You'll be able to do that. Not everyone will be able to make that claim. You can then fall back on the claims of the company, because I'm sure your company performs better than the MLS as a whole, and I would be prepared. So just to recap, I would talk about the culture of the company and how that translates into helping to sell a home faster. I would talk about the tools and the systems that you're bringing to bear to make that transaction, and then I would talk about performance, because the consumer at the end of the day wants to know that they're coming, they're going to work with someone that's going to help them get their house sold.
I love it. I love it. I want to tag on one thing that Charlie mentioned. What I love those are one of my passions. It's one of my great disappointments is that we're not able to deliver that on the level that we should. I really feel like that's an injustice that we're doing to our clients, not every time all goes wrong. But I've got a friend who just started a texting company. He actually interviewed someone coming agent with us, and he told us that he doesn't want to leave, come on board. He's got a wife and children and limited amount of resources. But he started a texting company called a franchise. And he went into a local restaurant in our market and sold them the package for texting. Within 2 weeks, the restaurant had 450 people sign up for the texting program. He sent out one text message and it came in and said, today's lunch special is so-and-so. He had, and he did it on the worst day of the week, his worst day of the week as far as his business for lunch. He had 75 people walk in with their phone and go, I want today's special. Wow. You don't think the world is texting. As these young guys over here, or me. I did my review with my daughter, and she was below 13,000 this past month. She was only 11,746. And then she asked about mine. 6,700. That's mine. And so the world is living in that world. If you're missing texting already, you're missing pennies, dollars on the ground. There's so many more to do business. You mentioned earlier information that they want to very time. Quick. They want you to be professional. And response time is very important. I have a young lady who's not giving her, we did an ad on the lake, out on the lake, and say $500,000 lake launch. And we're not giving her, cell phone number. So she texted me that I would like to do that launch at 4:45 today. You'll be looking at $500,000 lake launch. And I asked her, I said, have you been to the bank? And I am paying cash. And so we had correspondence for about 3 days over email. So if you're not catching that boat, you're absolutely missing the wave. And there's some differentiation to it. You being one of them, I think huge difference. All right, next question. We heard some economists say that 2011 will be a boom year for real estate. What is your feeling about 2011 and the rest of 2010? I think that's part of that.
Well, I haven't heard anyone say that 11 is going to be a boom year for real estate. Maybe here in the local market, but on a national scale, I would not expect a boom in real estate for another. It depends on your definition of boom, but I think we'll be at that 5% growth in 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That'll be the normal.
Okay. Next question. How do you see the huge number of foreclosures and short sales affecting the market as we move forward?
I think you have got to watch the inventory levels, and it's dependent on what your current inventory levels are. You said you got a fairly high inventory here, so you want to watch the more inventory that comes into this market. Now, while your inventories are high, it's going to be a problem. The biggest problem we have in the country is sort of negative equity that people have in homes. They either have lost their home, and you've got this big, or are about to lose their home. You have this big inventory issue out there. But on the other hand, you've got people who are upside down in their homes, and they can't afford to move. And so it's sort of created this big stalemate situation.
Fantastic. Last question. What is the best advice / tip you can give a new agent?
Hard work. Discipline. There is no, and the good thing I think about people who join this business now as opposed to 10 years ago and the basics of activity. What activities are you taking that are going to generate the development of your sphere of influence, of your pipeline? As long as you have activity, and you have to constantly build it. You have to constantly build it, and it's a hard thing to do, to not get focused on, all the stuff that happens after you get a contract on a house. You start to focus on getting into closure because you want to get your check. But at the same time, you've got to be focused, but not lose sight on continuing to build the pipeline. And it's an activities-based business. So you got to be disciplined, and you got to be working hard, and you got to treat it like a business.
I tell you right this moment, it's amazing, Charlie.